Hey, I'm Sarah, and this is the Goddess in Training podcast. This isn't about being perfect or polished or having it all figured out. This is about what happens when you actually start listening to your body, your intuition, your patterns, your truth. I'm asking big questions and having real conversations, sometimes messy and sometimes magical, with people who've lived through it, grown through it, and still don't have all the answers. If you've ever doubted yourself, betrayed your gut, or wondered if you're the only one, you're not. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to Goddess in Training. I'm Sarah, and today I'm joined by the luminous Kathryn Keefer. Kathryn's path hasn't been easy. She has lived through depression, postpartum struggles, and the ache of childhood abandonment. Along the way, she discovered that breath and movement weren't just ways to survive, they became the doorway back to joy and wholeness. In our conversation, Kathryn shares what it looks like to rebuild trust with your body, to soften into joy instead of punishment, and to let breath carry you into new states of awareness. She also opens up about money, worth, parenting, and the messy beauty of creating a life rooted in love. This episode feels like a reminder that healing is not about doing it all right, it's about returning to ourselves breath by breath. Let's dive in. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Goddess in Training. I am Sarah, and I am here today with my radiant friend, Kathryn Keefer. Kathryn is a breathwork facilitator. I mean, you do so many things, but that's the thing that I know you for. And so I'm so excited to dive in more, talk about your past and how you got to where you are. Also, the thing that has really resonated with me in your breathwork is the challenge of the breathwork that you practice and also how you integrate movement. So those are the two things, because me right now, I am coming out of this illness and where movement was kind of taken from me in a way. I was always able to move, but I had this infection in my leg, and it made me realize the importance of movement. It's like when something is taken from you, you realize how much you take it for granted. And then getting back into it after not moving so much is a challenge.
It's so hard.
It's so hard. Let's start there, because I love how you start sessions with just like, and I've started doing this myself, just like shaking it out. And it feels so good.
It does.
And I love to dance, and it reminds me of kind of the feeling that I get from dancing without having to like go out or, you know, because I don't dance as much as I would like to, but just like shaking it out, you get everything moving and your brain starts working better. Anyway, tell me about your journey to finding movement and why it's so important for you.
Oh, goodness. That's a long one. I think people usually look at someone who's 6 foot, who's already fit, and they assume that you popped out of the womb that way. No. Like I said at dinner the other night, I was asked to leave the volunteer track team. There's no athletic ability in this body. And I didn't even find movement until I was around 25. So I hated the idea of exercise. I hated it. I don't know where that came from. Maybe trauma from PE as a child. I don't know. And it also stemmed from this hatred that I had for my body, which I know so many women deal with. I don't know. I just never was open to the idea. And then when I was 20, I had my first child a month before I turned 22. And then my second one I had 19 months later.
Wow.
And I found out I was pregnant with my second when we had just moved to Hawaii. Again, I was only 22. I had a 9-month-old, and I had just moved from my family, and I have an identical twin. I'd never been away from them in my life. My husband and I were dating, engaged, married, and pregnant 11 months.
Oh my gosh.
So
Wow.
it was a lot. And we got there and we were still living in the hotel, and I found out I was pregnant. I was like, but I have a baby.
I've got one of those
She's
already.
Right here. And so we finally got our house and everything, and I just fell into this deep depression because I'm already clinically diagnosed with depression and other things. And so what do you call it after you have a baby?
Postpartum.
Postpartum. Thank you.
Yeah.
Words. the postpartum for my first baby kind of just catapulted into the second postpartum.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I was just so tired of being tired, and I was tired of not knowing what to do. And we took what little money we had, and my husband managed to get me a double jogging stroller. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get outside. If I walk, I walk. If I feel like running, I'll run. I loaded those babies up. And anytime I felt this wave of depression and unsureness wash over me, I just threw them in the jogging stroller and walked. And mind you, we lived in Hawaii.
It's beautiful.
The view was pretty epic. And they had great running trails because it's the Marine Corps. Like, they're running a lot.
Oh, right.
So there was great trails. There was pathways. And there was even a mom group that would meet up with all their jogging strollers. And I am not a runner. I don't run now. I don't plan on running ever again. But something about just moving my body saved my life, literally. But there was no pressure to do this workout and do that workout. And I just fell in love. And I love dancing. I was in show choir when I was a kid. I love dancing. And I never thought, just dance, but it's fine. So that kind of turned into, I'm going to try more. I want to see what my body can do. I want to feel good in my body. And yes, at the beginning, part of it also stemmed from this desire to control my body and make it look like I feel like it should, to look a certain way. And so it started from that negative space. And then I became a coach with Beachbody. I'm not anymore. I'm not pitching anything.
Is that one of like the hardcore exercise programs?
Beachbody is that MLM where you've got like the Shakeology drink and they've got their programs and you can follow them. And it stemmed my love for fitness classes. And I even got certified to teach one of their programs. I told you I've done a lot.
You have?
And I used to teach a fitness program called PIO and I loved it.
Yeah.
Love movement now. But it doesn't mean it's not hard to still do the things. It's still hard to push play. It's still hard to move the body, but you learn to fall in love with how it feels when you're done. And one of my favorite things is to help women find that love again for movement. Like when you're a kid at your friends' sleepovers and you're all dancing to music, because we've put so much pressure on you should be getting this many steps in and this much cardio and it's
so
important. So many shoulds. And it feels like another thing we have to do, and it's taken the joy out of it. And so by just reintroducing this idea of play through movement to people when we shake, and not saying, okay, we're going to get your heart rate up, which we all know we need to do, but it's hard. And I was talking to a friend the other day, and she's kind of gotten off of her fitness path, and it was really strong there for a little while, and she's so discouraged. And it's so hard to get back into it, like you said.
Yeah, that's what I'm finding. And the physical part of it too, maybe because I'm now 44, I'm feeling it much more, being in the hospital for 2 weeks and then like kind of limping for several weeks after that. And it wasn't just the physical part of it. I think there was a lot of mental depression. I think not having sun for 2 weeks literally did a number on my body, that and the antibiotics. But anyway,
That's a whole podcast.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know. Like how my body was just like changed. I felt like it was kind of like chemo. It was like, let's burn everything down to get rid of this infection. But coming out of it, like mowing the lawn and getting out and walking, I go to the dog park every day and trying to get sunshine, but it's so slow. And I ache from like little things, just cleaning the floor yesterday. I woke up this morning, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like reawakening all of those muscles that really went dormant so quickly.
Yeah.
It's so alarming how fast we can lose. And I didn't have much to lose, but I lost it. So what advice do you have? I mean, I feel like I'm in this season of my life where I'm supposed to be taking things really, really slow, and where I'm actually, because of the illness, I'm even more aware of my body. and listening more to my body's signals. Talk a little bit about movement and feeling your body and how that helps with intuition and how all those things tie together, because you so nicely use the movement and the breath, and that then opens up your mind space.
It's embodiment.
Right.
We're all so disconnected from our bodies. As someone, because I'm 38, I'll be 39, as someone who grew up in the 90s with all of Victoria's Secret models and just this, you have to be skinny, you have to be smaller, you have to be thinner. If you're not a certain size, you're not valuable. If you're not beautiful, you're not this. We learn to hate these beautiful vessels. And I had an eating disorder. I still deal with it. Orthorexia is the one where you obsess about what you eat and everything like that. And I still deal with those thoughts.
Yeah.
But I'm learning to embody and hold space for all of those things, even the hard things, and to show up for myself and recommit to myself because I love my body and everything it's done for me, no matter where it's at, which is hard because we've been trained to do the other thing.
Yeah.
And oh God, it's hard. We put ourselves through so much. My inner mean girl can really go for it sometimes. And acknowledging that the reason that voice is there is because it was created because it needed to keep you safe. So for example, the family I grew up in, we were all trained to believe that thin was best. Your beauty is everything. Like I used to be told, it's a good thing you're pretty because you have to marry a doctor and all the things. And when my grandma would see us, the first thing she'd do is say whether we gained or lost weight. And you'd get so praised if you had lost weight. Oh my gosh. And she would see someone on the news who had passed and she would go, oh, she was so beautiful. It's such a shame. But her beauty was the only thing that mattered. And so control was, like I had mentioned, my original intent. And shifting to this place of intuitively moving my body and learning to love it again has been hard, but life-changing. And it's in those moments where you don't feel like doing it, but you do it anyway, where you're actually building your dopamine. And it's the reward chemical hormone in your body. And as you make it through hard things, it builds it more. And we're actually depleting our dopamine because of social media and things like that. And so when you do it in a natural way that it's meant to be built, that's why it's so hard to do it, is because the body would rather choose what feels safe and familiar over what is best for us. And remembering that is key, because all you have to do is hit play and say, and say, okay, I'm going to move my body for 5-10 minutes. And that's what I help people do. I don't want people to think they have to do this hour-long workout. In fact, it's actually being proven that doing that high-intensity cardio for an hour is actually depleting our system, especially as we get older. We're not even really supposed to do a whole lot of cardio. You're welcome. So one of my favorite new things actually is the trampoline, the rebounder.
Oh, yeah.
I have a little one in my basement, and I'll just set a timer for 5 minutes and put on some great music and jump. And doing little things throughout the day to reconnect your body to that feeling without having to commit to this hour-long workout is such a great place to start because it's attainable. And you're moving your body throughout the day. Most of us have desk jobs, and we're taught, oh, you should be moving more. And then we feel guilty. But I'm like, but this is my income. So my twin sister actually has a rebounder right next to her desk.
Oh, does she? Okay.
Yeah. And she'll get up and jump on it and things like that. And just getting that heart rate up, getting those chemicals, those good feeling chemicals flowing through your body will reconnect your system to intuitively move. And like, I'll just get up and stretch or shake, or we get those little nudges like, oh, I should move. And then we fight it. Yeah. When all you have to do is just get up and shake and move your body. If anyone who is struggling with recommitting to this beautiful body that we have been given, just move. You don't have to do anything in particular. you will fall back in love with that feeling
Mm-hmm.
of showing up for yourself. And that's pivotal as well. Falling back in love with the non-scale victories is what I call them. Like noticing, I moved this way and it didn't hurt. That's new.
Right.
Things like that. One of my favorite, I'm going to pitch, I get no money from this, but my favorite platform in the whole world, because I don't love a gym anymore.
Yeah.
That part of my life is past. My Marine husband goes to the gym and I do not. I love a good basement workout, working out in my house. And my favorite platform is by a woman named Melissa Wood Tepperberg.
Okay.
MWH is her platform. She's 42, has 2 children. She is this stunning, radiant beam of light energy. And most of her workouts are 10, 15, 20 minutes. She's got some 45, but you don't have to do it. And there's meditations, there's things, and there's actually no music, which I kind of love. It kind of helps you stay with your body and just feel how you're feeling.
I love that. And it got me thinking about the conditioning that we've all been subject to, and how these little movements and connecting with our body is almost like a rebellion against that, right?
Yeah.
And I was having this shift as you were talking in my brain. I'm like, because our intuition, our knowing is in our body, and we've been told to hate our bodies and to constantly be questioning our bodies and questioning what we put in our mouths, and then the science aspect of it too. When you are quantifying things in this way, it's a very kind of masculine energy placed on our very feminine bodies. And I've like always resisted all of those things. But to reframe it for myself as like a rebellion, actually, like I'm going to move to have this connection so that I can be more in my body and therefore be able to gain more information from the world around me through my body.
Yeah. And it creates such a shift because we're all struggling mentally with something.
Yeah.
That's a part of life. I read a quote once that said, the problem with life is that we think we shouldn't have any problems. And so doing the things that are hard, doing the hard things creates this resilience and this strength that you didn't know you had. You're like, I did that. I overcame that. And for any of you who may be feeling it's too late, I can't do it, you don't understand, there is something you can do. Even just resistance training, so like pushing your hands together and holding it as long as you can, that counts. Like you can do even the smallest things, but you're recommitting to yourself and you're teaching your body and your brain, I am committed to you. I'm going to keep my promises to you. And then your intuition will naturally start to grow. And I think it's just so powerful because you're right. We are taught, I know better than you. You should be eating this way. You should be eating that way. Don't eat this, eat this. But you're like, life is short. I want to eat chocolate like daily. Okay.
I've been on a huge chocolate kick. And I've been drinking cacao too. And I think that actually makes me want actual chocolate even.
And coming it from that space, what makes me feel amazing?
Yeah.
What makes you feel amazing? Not what Dr. So-and-so said you should be doing. Yes, there's foundational things that we all can do to raise our vibration, but that's what it is. It shouldn't feel like you're shrinking. It should make you feel expansive, even though it's hard. So yes, if it wasn't around 100 years ago, probably limit it. But there is also something to be said for joyful eating, like just enjoying. We have pizza night every Friday night, and we get it from this local place, and there's like balsamic roasted tomatoes on it.
Oh, yum.
I love pizza. I love it. I enjoy it. I have 2. And then I enjoy some cake after. And that is something I would not have done.
And I think that the intention that you put into it really changes everything, right? And so I just started praying over my water before I drink it. And it's all about raising that vibration. And I really believe that, you know, if you're sitting down to eat a candy bar and you're like feeling shameful about it and like, I really shouldn't. And, you know, then you have all these negative thoughts about being a kid and eating too much Halloween candy and whatever. your body is going to receive it in that really negative way.
Yeah.
But if you're like, this cake is
enjoy
delicious
this.
and I am going to eat this because it feels good. You're bringing it into your vessel at this higher vibration.
Yeah.
And I think exercise can be the same way too, movement. And I've never really thought about it that way because it's always kind of felt like, a should when I've tried to do some kind of program and then it doesn't last.
Yeah.
The things that do last are like, I love mowing the lawn. And so I purposely have a not very powerful push lawnmower because it can extend the time. It forces me to do it more often. It takes more time and I enjoy every minute of it. And so finding those things where you are at a high vibration, where you are feeling joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you may not feel it initially, especially when you're first starting out. But I'm telling you, if you just show up for yourself, hit play, and remember how you have to think. Melissa says this all the time. How bad do you want to feel? You have to focus on the fact that you will feel better when you're done. And a lot of people, one thing that I've noticed, a lot of people focus way too much on the strict HIIT cardio strength without prepping your nervous system to be ready to hold that.
Oh, interesting.
So especially if you've been there, a lot of women come to me and they say, I do the things, I go to the gym, I work out all the time, but nothing is happening. And it's because your nervous system is not ready for that.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when you're in fight or flight and your nervous system is overactive, your whole body stops working correctly except for the flight part.
I have been there.
Your metabolism shuts down. Your body stops making muscle. It stops blood. It is huge. And so that's why starting small is actually pivotal. So you're reconditioning, you're expanding what's called your nervous system's window of tolerance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so it builds its capacity to hold that movement, to hold the expansion that's happening.
That's such like a feminine energy framing of it too. And when I've gone to the gym, it's again that masculine energy. Like you put yourself on a schedule and you push through. And what you said about the nervous system makes total sense to me because in those times when I'm coming out of depression, where I'm like, okay, I've got to exercise, I got to go to the gym to help me get through this. I'd like gone to the gym, lifted hard and like put in that really good workout and then had a migraine for 3 days and felt like, I had some like histamine responses even, rashes and like my body would freak out. Be like, am I allergic to exercise? But you're saying that it's just doing too much too quickly. Yeah.
And so going to breath work, it's one reason I love the modality I do, SOMA. So a lot of people have probably seen Wim Hof and things. That type of breath work is called holotrophic and it has a place and it's beautiful. Just like eating a certain way works for one person and not another. I never will imply that one is better than the other overall, but you have to intuitively tune into what your needs are. So if you're someone, and if you're a woman in 2025, you're probably dealing with nervous system stuff. If you're someone whose nervous system is already off the charts, holotrophic Wim Hof is not going to be supportive of you right away.
Tell me what that is. Is it like a more
so it's
active? It's
so
kind
it's
of
very
stimulating.
activating.
Yeah, and
it's very
like
activating,
stimulating the fight or flight,
and it has major benefits.
Sure,
when your nervous system is able to hold it. So SOMA Breath utilizes 3 powerful healing modalities, and that's ancient pranayama techniques. So there's different things you can do based off of where you are. Specific healing music and visualization and neurosomatic programming. So that's reprogramming the brain and nervous system and things like that to hold it. So it's rhythmical breath work. So you're breathing slowly and it's not the force is not what's important. It's the rhythm. And you're flowing femininely like the ocean and things like that. And then we do like intermittent hypoxic holds, which that's a whole podcast on the health benefits of that. But it simulates a low oxygen environment. So it creates a healthy stress response. You go a little bit beyond your comfort zone and then you can come back. So by doing these little bites, you expand your nervous system's ability to hold all of the things you want to do.
Yeah, you had introduced me to that. So it's where you breathe out and then you hold it. And it's challenging. And it's a very different way of breathing because I've only ever held when you inhale, not on the exhale. And it was really transformational. Can you talk a little bit more? I know there's so much behind it. And but I think you were saying too that it helps release DMT in your body too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So DMT, for those of you who do not know, is they call it the God molecule. And a lot of people, they thought it was in the brain mostly, but now they're discovering most of it's in our lungs.
Interesting.
I know. So
wow.
when people do plant medicine journeys, things like that, the DMT is what, really takes you on that experience. And we make our own. So when you do enough rounds of the breath work, if the body is ready, because the body will not do something if you're not ready, you can experience hallucinations, like the good kind, not the bad kind, esoteric spiritual experiences, downloads, things like that, because you're in this low oxygen environment. And not just that, but the different breath techniques kind of force that DMT to come out. And in terms of health benefits, so the intermittent hypoxic chambers, people spend thousands of dollars to go sit in these low oxygen environments. We can do that with our breath.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to pay for it. And so by being in this low oxygen environment, it's very anti-inflammatory. It's because oxidative stress is oxygen. People think oxygen is the king of us, and it's not. It's actually nitric oxide is a really, really powerful molecule that we don't get enough of. You can get it by humming, doing all these things. It's anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, antimicrobial.
Wow.
I know. It's very powerful. And when you do this, you also get what's called a dose. So dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins, all of your feel-good hormones will be released and circulated through your whole body. So it's very, very powerful. And when you do longer sessions, like I do them in private sessions or my advanced workshops, you literally can go into a almost hypnotic state where you can reprogram your brain so that you can have the transformations you're looking for in your life. And it can expand your endurance, your healing. It's really great for your cardiovascular health, your heart rate variability, which is a huge indicator of where you are stress-wise also.
That's amazing. And something that I wish I'd found earlier in my life, because once I dove into breath work, I became more aware of my breath. And I don't think that I really breathe very well ever.
Most of us don't.
Yeah.
So they're actually discovering that less breathing is more. So animals who breathe less live longer.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we're not taking in as much oxygen. There was a monk who, I can't remember who the quote is from, but he said, you have to breathe as if you're not breathing at all. Like people should not realize that you're breathing. And breathing with your diaphragm activates your parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that is not fight or flight.
Right.
So it's really powerful. Most of us are breathing as though we're stressed, so it's activating stress.
And it keeps popping into my mind being a 90s kid as well. All of the sitcoms, I feel like every single sitcom had a moment where somebody was having a panic attack and they get the brown paper bag, right? And like breathing in and out. You don't see that on shows anymore, do you?
No.
Why is that
They're
going
like,
away?
we don't want to make bad habits. So a lot of people think this is kind of why Lamaze isn't a thing anymore.
Really?
When you breathe as though you're stressed, you just activate more stress. So actually, you can use this. A tip, if you're ever going on stage or you're about to do something that's really overwhelming you and you cannot seem to calm your breath, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You want to exhale twice as long as you're inhaling. And after 3 times, exhale all of the air out of your lungs and hold your breath for just a few seconds. Because when you're stressed, you're not going to hold your breath.
Yeah.
So you're breathing as though you're not stressed by holding your breath. And it will calm your body down.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what are some effects that you've experienced in your own life in practicing this breath work?
Goodness. So the reason I even found breath work is because I've been in the coaching and wellness space forever. Once I was in Beachbody, I was like, I'm kind of tired of saying I'm a coach and I don't really feel like one. And so I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. became an actual coach. And I still love fitness, but I still had all of those really toxic behaviors, working out from a space of should, and I need to get thinner. I need to be this size. You should be able to see my muscle, something. I don't know.
Right.
And I was so stressed, so depleted, so just, I was like, life cannot be, there has to be something else.
Yeah.
And the old thoughts that I had growing up did not go away. And I randomly went on this online workshop with a woman named Emily Fletcher. She owns Ziva Meditation. She's fabulous. She's a Broadway diva who became a meditation teacher. She brought the creator of SOMA on, and we did a whole 45-minute session. And I just felt my whole body relax and release for probably the first time in ever.
Wow.
And I felt my female ancestors around me. Like, I'm getting chills as I'm thinking of it. I saw a phoenix rising from the ashes in my mind. I was like, what is happening?
Wow.
It was profound, and I knew instantly I needed to do this. And being a theater nerd, show choir, music is so important to me. I love music. So the fact that Niraj, the creator, was a DJ first, and music meant so much to him, I knew that this was the modality for me. Because I had tried Wim Hof, and again, there's nothing against Wim Hof, but it just didn't work for me. At least I didn't feel like it did. So I would love to have been doing it for even longer, but I officially became certified maybe a year ago, and I'd been doing it about a year prior. And it de-ages everyone. I'm just throwing it out there. It causes cellular regeneration.
Wow.
And it's really great for mitochondria health.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you're in that intermittent hypoxic state that we talked about, the old and icky mitochondria start to die off and new ones are regenerated. And so you see people who do breath work and you're like, wait, how old are you?
Yeah.
And they're almost aging backwards. It's so weird.
So I'll add that to fasting too, because water fasting, I need to find somebody who's an expert in that, because it's something that I practice. And I do feel like the more that I water fast, the younger I look, actually. So I'll have to combine that with the breath work as well.
Yeah. And honestly, you're supposed to do breath work on more of an empty stomach.
Okay.
Yeah, because that way your body's not focused on digestion. It can be fully present and focused. And now with fasting, I love Dr. Mindy P. I can't remember her last name. I'm going to have to find it. But she is really great for women and how you should fast with your cycle and things. I am someone who cannot do very long fasts. I think the longest I can do is 13, 14 hours, and then my hangry kicks in real quick. But I'm very active. So for me, just that's as far as I can go. And that's what works for me. But my twin sister can go like 18 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like,
wow,
girl,
interesting.
No, I can't. So again, that just shows, try these things and see what works for you. What works for me, what works for you is not going to work for you. And that's okay too. It comes back to intuitively coming back to yourself and how do I feel when I eat this way? How do I feel when I'm being with myself in this moment? How do I feel when I'm doing this breath work? How do I feel when I'm meditating? It's so powerful because I don't know about you, but I grew up in a home where you were meant to be seen and not heard. And you were taught that, not taught intuitively, like they didn't do it in your face, but you kind of grew up thinking that your intuition isn't right. What you say doesn't matter. And you're meant to be quiet and small. So reconnecting to that part of yourself can be scary because you were taught that it's not right. So yeah.
Tell me about the new training that you're going to be doing and this wonderful story that you told about how it seemed like it wasn't possible, and then you manifested the possibility, and now it's happening.
I'm so excited. So one woman who I love, she has a podcast as well. Her name is Jessica Zweig. She has the Spiritual Hustler podcast. She is a female entrepreneur who is also very in the esoteric, I hate the word woo, but most people understand what that means. She talks about aliens and the goddess, and she's been to Egypt, and she's amazing. And I've always just connected with her. And she has this program called the Feminine Frequency Business School. One of my things that I've been working to overcome is lack mindset. When I grew up, my dad left when I was 8. We lost everything. It was traumatic. My mom married my stepdad, and it was fine, but we had money, which was nice, but if someone had to spend money on you, it was like, it was a burden. And, you would get in trouble for spending money, and it was a whole thing. And they would always say things like, oh, there's never enough, still to this day. And so that's like embedded in your DNA, this fear of money. And so anytime I would spend money and financial things would come up, I would just contract and feel so much guilt and shame. And so when I found out how much the program was, I was like, there is no way in heck I can do that and still be okay. But then I was like, you know what? I have been a coach for a very long time. And if I keep doing things the way that I've been doing them and expecting a different result, it's insanity. So her program felt like a full body yes. And when I was in her online summit, I actually won one of her $1,500 prize boxes.
Oh my gosh.
She only had 5, and there was like 12,000 people on. And I was like, oh, okay, let's play this game. And she only had 2 options for paying. You could pay in full disclosure. It was like 10 grand.
Yeah.
And you could pay in full, or they had an option where you could pay, I think, almost $2,000 a month. And I was like, well, I can't do either of those, but I'm going to be in this program. I don't know how it's going to happen. I feel it. So
you just knew.
I just knew. So I printed a certificate of completion with the Frequency School business logo on it.
Oh my gosh.
Put my name on it, everything, and I put it where I could see it. And I tuned into this frequency of being in the program already. Being this woman who I love beautiful things. I love luxury. I don't need them to be okay, but I love them. I was just born, raised. I love beautiful things. And I want to work with just in these environments where it's the high end, the luxury retreats, the things like that. And I was like, if that's the space I need to be in, I need to be in that frequency. And I can't contract when this opportunity comes up. And so I tuned into that. I was in the frequency of it a day before the registration was over. I messaged Jessica, and I was just telling her how amazing she is and that I was calling it in and things. And she's like, well, what's stopping you? Let's do this. And I explained to her my predicament. Like, these options don't work for me. And she said, stand by. And then I got an email that they created a option, not specifically just for me. She said she had a couple other people who she knew needed to be in this program. And it didn't feel salesy. She's an amazing person. It was so aligned, where I only had to pay the exact amount that I could pay a month.
Oh my gosh.
And be okay.
Wow.
And it wasn't like a credit card hold or anything like that. She was just doing this for you, knowing that you were going to follow through and pay each month, which she had never done before. And so I said yes. I still felt like I was going to throw up. I still sometimes those thoughts will come in like, what were you thinking? But it feels so beautiful and expansive to have trusted my intuition, to knowing that was a full body yes. That was a holy yes, as Jessica calls it. Because sometimes you do these things and you're like, no, this timing isn't right. And it's not right. This was right.
Clearly it was.
And it's one of those things that you do and it's going to be the quantum leap of your life. And it was terrifying. It still is. But we have to do the things that are hard and scary. Otherwise, we're not going to grow.
Yeah, I share those same feelings around money. And I've been meditating a lot recently on worth. And there are all these theories around like what you should be charging for your coaching. And I actually just had a Substack article today about like, I would just like to give everything away for free. I really just don't want money to be part of my life at all. It just feels so draining to think about. And why can't we live in a world where we just flow with each other and we give and we receive? And people talk about how that's kind of the currency of Burning Man, which I've never been, but is it like where they don't use money at all? And everybody is just kind of provided for. But at the same time, there's also the theory that you need to be in that high-end frequency if you want to attract people who are also at that frequency too, which is such a hard thing to do when you come from a place of not being in that frequency. And I feel like it's in my cells, that scrounging and not having enough. And I'm fine being in that space too. I'm like, I don't need a lot. I'm not a materialistic person, but I would like to learn how to be in that frequency, because I really feel like we all deserve abundance.
Oh yeah, it's our birthright. Bliss, abundance, prosperity. It's all our birthright. Everything else is just crap that was put on top of us that we don't need. And I had to kind of shift and looking at money as energy. It's an exchange of energy. And knowing that my worth, because the other thing I deal with is I'm like, okay, I don't know enough yet. I'm not good enough yet as a coach, as a breathwork, so I can't charge that much. And Jessica said something in the program. She was like, you need to understand that just by being yourself and people being in your energy, you are worthy.
Yeah.
Period.
That's it.
Period.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, wow, that's it. And my worth journey has been so challenging because being a child of abandonment, and I'm talking abandonment, like he was like, bye. I see him once every 10, 15 years, even to this day. And he's not a bad person. And I never want to be coming from that space of, oh, my mom and dad. We all sign up for this. And I'm sorry, but you did. We pick our parents before we come here to experience what we're meant to experience to overcome the things that we're meant to overcome. I was meant to experience this feeling of not being chosen, of not being loved, of not being enough for a reason. And when he left, so my twin sister and I were fairies. We would never be inside, ever. When we were 2, my mom couldn't find us one night, and we were climbing a tree. She doesn't even know how we got there. In diapers, in winter. I don't know. And I grew up in Tappahannock, Virginia, and if that sounds familiar, it's because it's Chris Brown's hometown, and he rapped about it. We take no responsibility. And I actually grew up with him going to my mom's daycare, but it's fine.
Oh my gosh.
I know. Anyway, and when my whole life was where we were, the property, I had a pet sheep named Rambo, who was my life. He used to follow me around the yard and I would sing to him. It was very magical. And when my dad left, we couldn't keep anything because, we lost everything. And we had to move back in with my grandparents, and they lived in Arlington, Virginia, so like DC, which is where my family's from. And just losing all of that. And my mom, I can't even imagine what she was going through, but she was so in her pain that we really couldn't feel ours because there wasn't really anyone to hold that space. And so you don't feel enough. And so I was constantly searching for it. And then my mom married my stepdad, who was very verbally abusive. He was only around about 6 years. And so I wasn't enough with him. You're constantly, you didn't clean that good enough. You didn't do this good enough. You didn't do that good enough. And my twin sister, her coping mechanism was to be an overachiever. And I wasn't. So then she was getting these amazing grades and I was failing and I was gothic. And I had my first panic attack when I was in 8th grade and then was diagnosed with all these things. And I don't say these things to, oh, woe is me, look at my victim card. I say it because I want people to see themselves in me and see that you can overcome these things and that they don't define who you are at all. I don't have to be my family. I am not a victim to my bloodline, to what my family goes through, to any of the things. You can change.
Yeah.
You can change your timeline. You can shift. You can do all of these things. And it's so powerful once you take that power back.
Exactly.
That's hard.
And I also feel like those of us who have experienced a lot of trauma, that is also energy. And we can take that energy, and as powerful as it was in the negative, we can make it just as powerful in the positive, if not more powerful in the positive.
Yeah. Well, it's this idea of, so there's two types of therapy, top down, bottom up. Too many people are focused on top down. And that's why I don't go to therapy. I have nothing against it, but it just didn't work for me. It just keeps hammering in that I'm a victim, I'm depressed, I have this issue and this issue.
Giving it more energy.
I'm going to say something a lot of people don't like to hear. Most of the time, when we say we don't like something about ourselves, we are holding on to it because there is secretly something we love about it that we're getting from it, like a disease or something. And there is even a book called Existential Kink, and it's talking about this idea. And I didn't want to look at that either, but I did. And I still have to. I still find myself reflecting on, okay, why am I doing this? Why am I telling this story? Is it because I want attention, or is it because I really want to make an impact? And stuff like that is hard because we don't like to look at our stuff.
Yeah. And then relationships too, serving as that mirror, and the negative things that really annoy you about the people around you are also things.
They're a reflection. Yeah. And yeah, we think, oh, this person's mean, this person's bad. And I'm like, what if you see it and you hate it, you got it. I'm sorry. You probably do. I have to look at that too. This is not someone who's like, I figured it all out. No, I'm still doing
If we're here, we haven't figured it out.
Well, we know the thing, so it's almost worse because you're like, oh, there I go again. But on that note, taking the shame and judgment out of it and realizing that that is just your younger self who had to create coping mechanisms to survive. Like, I don't remember a lot of my childhood. Most of it is just a blank slate. And that's one reason therapy was hard. I'm like, I feel these things. I know they're there, but I don't know how to express it. I don't know what to do. Oh, yes. Go back. Top up therapy is the embodiment practices, the movement, the breath work. You're healing the nervous system because all of this trauma lives in the body. The book, The Body Keeps a Score, everyone talks about it. And it's like a vibration that gets stuck in your fascia, in your muscles, in everything. And that's why usually, say someone gets surgery, like back surgery, and 2 months later it comes back. It's because you didn't clear the energetic issue that is causing the problem. And I'm not a doctor, I just play one in a movie. But you have to look at both. You have to look at the energetic feelings, you have to clear things, and it's a daily practice I know it sounds exhausting. I promise it can become fun if you see it as just part of your life.
And I think the fun is super important.
Yeah.
We live in so much heaviness. And that was also something that I realized going through this illness, is like, it was not fun, and I deserve to have fun. You know, and we get so caught up in, again, the shoulds and like, and what fun is allowed. It's like, just like, life is so short.
It really is. My daughters are 14 and a half and 16 and a half. And I know everyone says it, but I literally feel like I blinked. And going back to not taking on this victim, they're bad, they're good mentality, my 16 and a half year old is on the spectrum, and she is being bullied profusely. Like, it's bad. It's to the point where she eats alone at lunch. These kids they're relentless. And instantly my instinct is to be that mama bear.
Yeah.
But then I remember, children are not bad. We need to remember that. They're not bad. They're behaving in a way that has become a coping mechanism. It's something they see at home. It's covering up something they don't want to look at. And my beautiful daughter is so incredibly herself and not trying to be anyone else, and that she triggers a lot of people. And so I talked to her about that. I'm teaching her to be resilient instead of blame that person. They're the bad guy. They're the bully. I don't even like to label people as bullies. They are bullying, but they're doing it for a reason. And it's hard. It is so hard to love the people when they're not being lovable.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So hard.
Yeah.
And she still struggles, but she goes to that school every day and just crushes it. And that's the full circle moment, building that resilience. That's what you're doing every time you show up for yourself. Every time you put in the work, you're building resilience so you can hold more. And it's not creating trauma. Because we're helping her move through it, you know, God willing, or goddess willing, it is not creating trauma. It's helping her overcome something and showing her how strong she is.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. And I wish that schools understood that framing to help other kids. I mean, it's definitely not the place where we are in public school at all.
And I was homeschooling them.
Yeah.
But my daughter wants to be an exotic vet.
Oh, wow.
And she was like, Mom, I am not understanding this homeschool curriculum, and I am neurodivergent. Don't ask for my help. I'm probably not going to know. She was like, I'm not understanding this online curriculum. I want to go back to public school for high school.
Yeah.
It was her choice. And I let her make that choice. I don't know better than her.
Yeah.
I can barely figure out my own stuff. What do I know? So she made the choice. And then my younger daughter followed because she missed her so much and she felt so alone.
Yeah.
And I still ask her, I'm like, are you still proud with your choice? And she said, yes.
Yeah.
And she has straight A's. She's so smart. Oh, goodness. As a neurodivergent kid who was in the special class, back in the day, they still came and they were like, okay, let's go, kids. And everyone knew there go the stupid kids, you know? They don't do that anymore. Mm-hmm. They did figure out that was pretty tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're just like their dad, though. He's so smart. He's an engineer. He has an engineer mind. And I'm like, thank you. Because I don't think I could have handled like academic struggles with peer struggles. I don't think we need a win in one of the departments. So we got to win.
It is so hard for kids these days. And my daughter struggled a lot. And then we moved here and it was a really positive change for her. But she was bullied and she's not on the spectrum and she just was relentlessly bullied. And then, you know, the social media layered on top of it and you can't get away from it.
I am so lucky. This is not awesome parenting. My kids don't have social media.
Oh, wow.
It's because they don't want it.
Oh, that's great.
They have no interest. Are they on Minecraft too much? Probably. But I'll take the win. Every once in a while, I'm like, girls, go stand in the sun. Your mitochondria needs a bolt of juice or something. Just go. But they're incredible children.
Yeah.
And that's not because I asked myself, what type of parent did I need? And I grew up, I was gothic. I was the evil twin. My mom,
I want to see pictures of gothic Kathryn.
My mom said she didn't call me that. And everyone's like, yeah, you did.
Oh my gosh.
I struggled so much and I used to self-harm and I needed to feel something. And I was so depressed and so alone. I remember standing in the house we had when my mom was married to my stepdad. Her room had these 2 doors, and I would stand at the doors just wanting to knock, wanting to go in, but being terrified to bug her. And then I would walk away.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't, oh my God, my mom was the worst. I can't even imagine what she went through. And she is just a byproduct of how she grew up. And when we stop pointing fingers and we realize that we are just all drops in this beautiful ocean, but we are all still the ocean. So going off on another moment, I feel like this is worth mentioning. So I did a weekend of ayahuasca journeys and not promoting it, not saying it's for everyone.
Oh, I promote
it. I died that weekend. And there was one point, and again, that was the hardest thing I've ever done. And I've had children. And I didn't think I was going to make it. And overcoming that felt like a badass. I came out of my last ceremony and I was like, I'm a freaking goddess. Like that was the instant thought. But there was one point where I was still on my journey and I looked up and there was this white light emanating from everything right about here. And it connected everyone and everything, even the cars, even the trees. It connected everything. We are connected. We are each other. whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit that you need to love your mother-in-law, we are all connected. And when we come back to that and we start taking responsibility for our own lives and how we want to feel, there's so much power in that. And if you're in a space where you're not, I say it a lot because I do it to myself. Do not go to a shame, guilt place. At least try not to. You are on a journey. And just acknowledging that this is something you need to work on is the first step. Taking responsibility.
And we bully ourselves, honestly. I mean, that's like full circle to the beginning of the conversation, that we need to treat ourselves with kindness first. And when you do that, it then radiates out. And just going back to the closed door, we then have a choice to do it differently. And I can imagine, I see open doors in your house all the time.
Gosh.
All the doors are open.
Too much. No. The other day, my daughter just was like, Mom, what was it like the first time you had sex with Daddy?
It's a very specific question.
And because I felt so much shame around that part of I thought when I first got my cycle, I thought I was going to be in trouble. Like, I did not understand it. There was so much shame, so much guilt. The first time, I was intimate, someone told my mom. And I was grounded for like a year and a half.
Oh my. Wow.
And it was someone I had been dating for like 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
Like it was
wow.
Shame and guilt. Anyway, whole other podcast. But
yeah.
I knew I didn't want that for her. She still has absolutely no interest in dating.
Yeah.
Again, she's a little bit further behind on that part of the world because of her spectrum disorder.
Yeah.
But she's just curious.
Yeah.
And then my other daughter's like, la, 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 la. So I realized one day, I was like, life is just, why do we make it so hard?
We do.
Why do we make it so complicated? If your kids ask a question, answer it. But also be like, but I don't know everything. Because I don't.
Yeah.
And I don't know better than you. You are a soul who has come here, who has picked me, who has their own purpose that I don't know. You know. So I'm not going to put my stuff on top of you as best as I can. Yeah. But then I make sure to acknowledge and admit when I've made a mistake. And I do have to do that a lot.
Same.
Yeah. I'm like, Mommy should not have reacted that way. Oh my goodness, these kids. But I have an incredible husband. Most people assume he's like, because he was a Marine, active. He's still a Marine. He was active duty Marine Corps for 23 years.
Wow.
And he's just the embodiment of masculine energy in the most beautiful way. He can protect you, but he doesn't like, this is mine. He doesn't own you. He doesn't yell at his girls. He doesn't shame my almost 15-year-old for her favorite thing. The second she gets home, his pants come off. She hates pants. It's probably a sensory thing. I don't know. She's walking around in a t-shirt and her underwear. So many dads would be like, oh, go put on pants. He just acts like she's just walking around normally.
Wow.
He doesn't shame. He doesn't scream. He doesn't yell. And, we're not perfect. We've just decided that we're not perfect and that we're going to be okay just letting it flow.
And love. Yeah. Love. That's so interesting. This might be a longer conversation and we don't have to go there, but thinking about how you grew up and having negative examples of relationships. I also had the same thing. And then I went into choosing negative relationships for myself. It seems like you didn't have that happen. How did that happen? And perhaps what I was thinking is, the structure of your husband may have been what originally attracted you to him. And then it just so happened that it just was this yin and yang balance.
So I got all of my toxic stuff out before him. It wasn't a very long window, but it was a window. And there was just one point where I think I'd been cheated on by everyone. Everyone. I was attracting my dad because that was his thing. Love you. He's a great person. And the final boyfriend I had, the boyfriend I had before Corey, he had been engaged, and that girl called me from his phone. when we were dating.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done. And I stopped looking. I decided I was done dating. I decided I was finished. And then I had a friend in beauty school. And she was like, my husband is a Marine on base. And he just got this, because when you go to a new base, you get like a buddy, if you will. I forget what the program is called. But Corey was assigned to him.
Okay.
And they became friends. And I have a friend, I have a friend. And I just met, and it was like this. He felt like an old shoe in the best way. Like he fit. Like it felt so right. And then he helped me. We would play game nights, and he would help me win. Like, gee. And he was just so different. And of course, there was those moments of this. You go back to your old relationships, and you're like, this doesn't feel like it. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe this, maybe that. But something just held on and knew that, I'm supposed to be with him. And 17 years later, here we are. Yeah, he's just the person I'm meant to do life with. We are not each other's property or all the things. It's a beautiful co-creation relationship. And so the universe was like, I'm sorry, I'm going to give you this because of, everything else.
That happens, I think in life would be boring if we had all the things, and we wouldn't learn anything.
You surrender. Yeah. And when you surrender, you're not giving up. You're saying, okay, goddess, creator, you are in control ultimately. I'm going to just surrender and let happen what's going to happen. Just thinking of how it aligned and flowed. I didn't even want to go to beauty school, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. And my mom found it, and she's like, why don't you give it a try? I was like, okay.
Why not?
And that's how we met.
Yeah.
Is me just randomly going to the school that I had no intention of going to. But yeah.
Kathryn, thank you so much. I am so excited to watch your next chapter with this course. How long is the course?
12 weeks.
12 weeks.
We just started, this is week 2.
Okay.
So the first week was a little more like, here's what's going to happen. Here's the things. But girl, it's a portal.
Ooh.
I'm ready.
I'm excited. What else do you have coming up?
So I don't have anything on the books specifically yet because I wanted to dive into the program completely. And I'm still doing my SOMA training. So SOMA has different levels. I have done their basic instructor and their advanced facilitator. I finished. The next one is mastering what is called their 21-day awakening journey, where it's a very personalized, facilitated breathwork journey that I can help guide people to truly transform their lives.
Wow.
And that one's a little bit longer. And then they've got their transformational coach certificate, which is above that. And so I'm doing all these different layers, and I'm still doing my business, but completely and fully committing to the programs. We do have our women's circle on Saturday, and I will be doing breathwork that day.
I'll be there.
We're going to be doing just a 2-round little dose, if you will.
And I'm sure some movement too.
Oh, always, always. If you're with me, you're moving in a loving way.
But thank you so much. And you and others that I've talked to on this podcast, just bringing together community here in this area has been so beautiful. And I feel like in this podcast, we're kind of like expanding that community out beyond what we're building here. And I hope that listeners are also finding their tribe as well, because it's so important.
We've lost community. We need each other. And I'm sorry to say you do. A lot of people, I think COVID mostly, we were doing it before, but COVID made it worse. We've kind of retreated to our own little sector. And being a extroverted introvert / Gemini, I love people. And I love being with people, but I can only be with people for so long before I have to run away and recoup. But that need for people, and I will end on this note with community. It is vital to our well-being, but also remember, you will end up like the 5 people that you hang around with the most. You will. They're called mirror neurons. And so you have to be really, really mindful. And
do our children count in the 5?
They do, but also teaching them about mirror neurons is really powerful too.
Okay.
Because my daughter, she would get really, again, with the bullies, And I would ask her, I'm like, although what you're going through is valid and it's real and it hurts, do you want to be friends with these people? And she's like, well, not really.
Yeah, right.
I was like, no, see?
I had the same discussion with my daughter. Yeah.
Yeah. Google mirror neurons and you will learn all about it. I love the body. I love quantum physics. Again, that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, you will become like the top 5 people you hang out with.
Let's hang out more.
I love it. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to Goddess in Training. I hope something in this episode stirred your knowing or softened your heart. If it spoke to you, share it with someone who needs it, or leave a review or comment to help others find us. If you're watching on YouTube, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to hear more conversations like this, please consider supporting Goddess in Training on Patreon. For more tools and offerings to deepen your intuition practice, visit goddessintraining.online. You can also join the Scroll of Sashat on Substack for twice-weekly stories of how I followed my intuition. The music for Goddess in Training is Madre Ayahuasca by Arkawa, and you can find more of his music in the link to his website in the show notes. Remember, your intuition is not a mystery, it's a memory. Keep listening.
Resplandor del fuego, estrellita, tabaco santo, fuerza de rape, soplo de luz, soplo encantado, viajecito, bendición del cielo, fortaleza, tigrecito de la selva, madre ayahuasca.